Thank you.
Would you like to say how you're doing on the battlefield?
Yeah.
Donald Trump swings back and forward in his support for President Zelensky. Today, he's talking about restoring Ukraine's original borders. After this meeting, he posted, "I think Ukraine, with the support of the European Union, is in a position to fight and win all of Ukraine back in its original form." And after recent incursions over Poland and Estonia, he wants to get tough with Russian aircraft.
Do you think that NATO countries should shoot down Russian aircraft if they enter their airspace?
Yes, I do.
Volodymyr Zelensky described Trump's intervention as a game changer.
Dispose of Trump, it's a big shift.
What do you expect from NATO in the next 2 years?
Mr. President.
Donald Trump arrived at the UN to berate the organisation over where it's going wrong and to tell its member countries they need to change. Just as he got on the escalator, it stopped. A perfect illustration for Mr. Trump of everything he thinks is wrong with the UN. Inside the hall, he found the teleprompter broken, before repeating his familiar claim to have ended 7 wars and complaining he'd had no help from the UN in doing so.
All I got from the United Nations was an escalator that on the way up stopped right in the middle. If the First Lady wasn't in great shape, she would have fallen. And then a teleprompter that didn't work. These are the 2 things I got from the United Nations, a bad escalator and a bad teleprompter. Thank you very much.
He talked about the conflicts he's not been able to end in Ukraine and in Gaza, criticising nations like the UK who have recognised Palestinian statehood.
We can't forget October 7th, can we? Now, as if to encourage continued conflict, some of this body is seeking to unilaterally recognize a Palestinian state. The rewards would be too great for Hamas terrorists for their atrocities. This would be a reward for these horrible atrocities.
On Ukraine, he said he could impose much tougher sanctions against Vladimir Putin, but won't unless European countries stop buying energy from Russia. He spoke for almost 4 times longer than his allotted minutes, and even by Mr. Trump's own standards, this was remarkably combative and vainglorious.
Trump was right about everything, and I don't say that in a braggadocious way, but it's true. I've been right about everything.
On immigration, his constant fixation, he said it's destroying countries, in Europe in particular.
They've been invaded by a force of illegal aliens like nobody's ever seen before. Illegal aliens are pouring into Europe. Nobody's doing anything to change it, to get them out. It's not sustainable.
He singled out Sadiq Khan, the mayor of London, for criticism.
I look at London, where you have a terrible mayor, terrible, terrible mayor. And it's been so changed, so changed. Now they want to go to Sharia law, but you're in a different country. You can't do that.
The other great threat facing the world, according to President Trump, is not climate change, but attempts to halt it with renewable energy. Global warming, he said, is a hoax.
It's the greatest con job ever perpetrated on the world, in my opinion.
He specifically chided the UK for not drilling for more oil under the North Sea and mocked environmental concerns. For almost an hour, he lectured world leaders on where he thinks they're failing and bragged about his own record, portraying himself as the only leader who can solve the world's problems. Sarah Smith, BBC News, New York.